Hey everyone, welcome back to World Talk, the podcast where real conversations teach you real English. I'm Jenna.
And I'm John, and today we are going full pop culture. Memes, catchphrases, viral moments, internet slang, celebrity quotes, all of it. Because pop culture is not a distraction from learning English, it is English. The living, breathing, constantly evolving version of it.
Think about it. Every generation has its own language. And right now, in 2024, if you don't understand what slay, no cap, main character energy, or it's giving means, you're missing a huge layer of how English speakers actually communicate, especially online, especially with younger generations.
And the beautiful thing about pop culture English is that it's everywhere, on social media, in conversations, in headlines, in comment sections. You can't avoid it, and once you understand it, you feel like you've unlocked a secret level of the language.
So today, we're going deep into pop culture, what it teaches us about English, where these expressions come from, what they really mean, and how to use them naturally. No cringe, no trying too hard, just real, relevant English that connects you to the world right now.
Let's get into it. No cap.
And hey, if you have a friend who's obsessed with pop culture and wants to level up their English, send them this episode right now. This one's gonna hit different. Okay, let's go. Let's start with the basics. What even is pop culture? Pop is short for popular, and pop culture is basically the collection of ideas, images, trends, phrases, and attitudes that dominate mainstream society at any given time. Movies, music, memes, celebrities, social media trends, all of it.
And here's why it matters so much for English specifically, because English is the language of global pop culture. The biggest movies are in English, the most followed celebrities post in English, the most shared memes originate in English. So if you want to understand the internet, you need to understand English pop culture.
And pop culture changes the language constantly. New words enter English every single year through pop culture. Stan, ship, ghosting, flex, vibe, none of these had their current meanings 20 years ago. They were born in pop culture and then absorbed into everyday speech. The dictionary literally adds new words because of pop culture.
There's also a social function. When you understand a pop culture reference, you feel connected. You're part of the conversation. You laugh at the right moment. You get the inside joke. And that feeling of belonging, of I understood that, is one of the most powerful motivators in language learning.
It's the difference between knowing English and living English. Textbook English gets you through the door. Pop culture English makes you feel at home.
Here's something fascinating. Most pop culture expressions have a very specific origin. They don't just appear out of nowhere. They come from a song, a movie, a meme, a celebrity moment, and then they escape into everyday language. Let's trace some of the most famous ones.
Slay, which means to do something incredibly well, to look amazing, to absolutely nail it, originally came from drag culture and Black American culture. Beyoncé helped bring it mainstream. Now everyone uses it. She slayed that performance. You look amazing. Slay. It's everywhere.
No cap, meaning no lie, for real, I'm being serious, comes from hip-hop culture. Future and Young Thug popularized it. That was the best concert I've ever seen, no cap. It's now used by people of all ages, in all kinds of conversations, even in professional settings sometimes.
It's giving, meaning something has a certain vibe or energy, came directly from drag and ballroom culture, popularized massively on TikTok. This outfit is giving main character. This weather is giving autumn romance. It's incredibly versatile, and once you start hearing it, you hear it everywhere.
Red flag, meaning a warning sign in a person or situation, technically existed before pop culture, but TikTok and dating culture exploded it into mainstream usage. He texted back immediately every time. Green flag. She never apologizes. Red flag. Now people use it way beyond dating. That business deal has so many red flags.
And ghosting, disappearing on someone without explanation, came entirely from dating app culture and is now used in every context. He ghosted me after 3 dates. The company ghosted me after the interview. My landlord has been ghosting my calls for 2 weeks. The word travels from culture into language seamlessly.
Okay, let's talk about memes, because memes are genuinely one of the most underrated tools for learning English. And here's why. A meme is compressed language. It takes a complex feeling, a shared experience, or a cultural moment and condenses it into the fewest possible words. That's advanced communication.
To understand a meme, you need vocabulary, grammar, cultural context, and often a sense of humor. If you can read a meme and laugh, genuinely laugh, not just because someone told you it's funny, your English comprehension is at a high level. Memes are actually a great test of your language progress.
Think about the "this is fine" meme, a dog sitting in a burning room calmly drinking coffee. The whole joke is the contrast between the chaos and the calm acceptance. But to get it, you need to understand irony, understatement, and a very specific kind of deadpan humor that is deeply American. One image, a whole cultural lesson.
Or nobody asked, used when someone shares an opinion no one requested. Nobody asked, but here's my hot take on pineapple on pizza. It's dismissive, it's sarcastic, it's funny, and it teaches you about social dynamics in English communication. When do people volunteer opinions? When is that seen as annoying? Culture through comedy.
And that's not how any of this works, used when someone misunderstands something completely obvious, or "we don't do that here," a polite but firm rejection. These meme phrases enter real conversations constantly. You'll hear them at work, with friends, online. Knowing the meme means knowing the reference, and not builds real connection with native speakers.
Memes also teach you tone. The same sentence can mean completely different things depending on how it's formatted. "Oh, interesting" with a period is cold and dismissive. "Oh, interesting" with 2 exclamation points is genuine excitement. "Oh, interesting" is suspicious. Punctuation as emotion, that's a very internet age English skill.
Okay, real talk. What's a pop culture expression in English that you heard and had no idea what it meant? Drop it in the comments, we'll explain it. And if you're learning something new in this episode, subscribe to World Talk so you never miss one. We drop new episodes every week.
Here's something that linguists find fascinating. Pop culture doesn't just reflect the English language, it actively changes it. New words enter the official dictionary because enough people started using them through pop culture. Selfie, binge, twerk, photobomb, all officially in the dictionary now, all born in pop culture.
And this has always happened. Shakespeare invented over 1,700 words that we still use today. Bedroom, lonely, generous, obscene. He was the pop culture of his time. Everyone watched his plays. Everyone quoted him. Language has always been shaped by the stories and entertainments people share.
Today, it's TikTok and Twitter doing what Shakespeare did with the Globe Theater. A sound goes viral, a phrase gets repeated millions of times, and suddenly it's part of the language. That's so Fetch from Mean Girls. The joke was that it never caught on, but fetch itself became a cultural reference. Pop culture even jokes about how pop culture works.
And Taylor Swift deserves a special mention here because she's practically a linguistic phenomenon. Swifties have created entire vocabularies around her albums. The Eras Tour, In My Blank Era. She's influenced how millions of people talk, write, and express themselves. That's extraordinary cultural power, and it's all in English.
Even SpongeBob, yes, the cartoon, has had a massive impact on English internet culture. Mocking SpongeBob, "I don't need it." Is mayonnaise an instrument? These are quoted constantly across generations, across countries. A children's cartoon became a language resource. That's how deep pop culture goes.
Okay, let's talk about how to actually use all of this to get better at English, because understanding pop culture passively is one thing. Actively using it to build your fluency is another level.
First, follow English language accounts on social media, not just to consume content, but to study the language. Pay attention to how captions are written, what slang appears, how humor works, how people express opinions. Social media is a living English textbook that updates itself every single day.
Second, when you encounter a phrase you don't understand, don't just scroll past it. Google it, look it up on Urban Dictionary, which is an incredible resource for slang and internet English. Understanding where an expression comes from makes it stick much better than just memorizing a definition.
Third, try using one new pop culture expression this week in a real context. Not forced, not weird, just natural. I'm in my studying era. This coffee is giving me life. No cap, that was the best class I've had in months. Small uses build confidence. Confidence builds fluency.
Fourth, watch reaction videos and commentary channels in English. Channels where people react to pop culture moments, explain memes, or discuss celebrity news. This gives you natural, fast, opinionated English, the kind you hear in real conversations, and it's genuinely entertaining.
Fifth, read English comments on a viral video or post this week. Notice how people express emotions: shock, admiration, sarcasm, disagreement. Real people, real English, real communication. That's the language living out loud.
Sixth, create your own pop culture journal. Once a week, write down 3 new English expressions you encountered in pop culture, where you found them, what they mean, and 1 sentence using each. It takes 5 minutes and it builds a personal vocabulary bank that's relevant to your life and interests.
All right, time for activities. 6 practical things you can do right now to use pop culture as your English teacher. And the best part? Most of these are things you probably already do, just with a slightly different intention. Activity 1. Change your social media language to English today. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, everything in English. Your feed becomes an immersion environment. Every caption, every comment, every notification, English input all day long.
Activity 2. The next meme you see in English that you don't fully understand, don't just laugh and scroll. Stop. Analyze it. What's the joke? What cultural knowledge does it assume? What words or expressions does it use? You'll be surprised how much English is packed into one image.
Activity 3. Pick one Gen Z expression from today, slay, era, it's giving, understood the assignment, and use it naturally in a sentence this week. Text it to a friend, say it out loud, write it in your notes. Own the word, make it yours.
Activity 4. Watch 1 English pop culture commentary video this week. A YouTube video about celebrity drama, a movie review, a ranking every blank video, anything where someone talks enthusiastically about pop culture in English. Natural speech, natural opinions, natural vocabulary.
Activity 5. Read the English comments on a viral video or post this week. Notice how people express emotions: shock, admiration, sarcasm, disagreement. Real people, real English, real communication. That's the language living out loud.
Activity 6. Start your pop culture journal. Every week, 3 new English expressions from pop culture, where you found them, what they mean, 1 sentence using each. In a month, you'll have 12 new expressions. In a year, over 150. That's a fluency boost hiding inside something you already do every day.
Pop culture is not shallow. It's not a guilty pleasure. It's the mirror that a society holds up to itself. And in the case of English, it's a mirror that the whole world looks into. Every meme, every catchphrase, every viral moment carries inside it a piece of how English speakers think, feel, joke, and connect.
When you understand no cap, you understand a community. When you use slay naturally, you're speaking a language that crosses race, age, and geography. When you get the meme without anyone explaining it, you're not just learning English anymore, you're living it.
And you just listened to an entire World Talk episode in English about culture, language, humor, and the internet. You understood references, learned expressions, and connected with ideas that are shaping the English language right now in real time. That's not studying, that's living the language. And that's exactly what World Talk is all about.
If this episode slayed, and no cap, we think it did, hit that like button and subscribe to World Talk. Every episode is a new world of English waiting for you.
Take care of yourselves, stay curious, stay cultural, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.